I first met Bhagavan on the 29th of September 1940, and I last met him in the first week of April 1950, the week before his death. During my first visit, a great man, Sir P.S.Swaminathan, a wonderfully great man, I told him I was going. He said, don't go alone. Take somebody whom you like, to whom you are attached, take them in. And so I took one old student, Subramaniam, one then student, Ismail, and my wife. So I went with this group of people. And for this, Shivaswami here is responsible. He told me he used to walk on Uttagaman, Nilgiri Hills. There's a place called Dodapetta, which is a steep precipice. From there, you can look into the abyss about 8,000 feet below. People like to look into it, look down, and in order not to fall, becoming giddy, they used to tie themselves up with a piece of rope. Somebody will hold the rope, and then you can look down. So he gave me this analogy and said, when you go to Bhagavan, you will swept off your feet. You will fall into the abyss.
I see.
And so be bound by attachment to some people. So I had 3 ropes. My wife, my student, very fine people, all of them very good people. Many people went to him because they wanted their wishes fulfilled. Many people went to him because in their affliction they found consolation from him. Many people went to him with intellectual problems which he solved. So there are many, shall I say, demands on him, and he met them mostly. So far as I am concerned, I went because, see, 1927, I had heard of him, I had read about him. Kavya Kanta came and spoke in my college. So I heard about Bhagavan, and many people have written to me. But at that time, I was a fool, and I said, what is this man sitting on top of a hill and doing nothing? Here is Gandhi. Then, in 1939-40, I passed through a series of very interesting experiences. One was, I read the poems of Bhagavan. I know something about poetry. In this time, poetry is poetry. Poetry is the bridge between the actual, phenomenal, and the ultimate real. Now, when I read Bhagavan's poems, I said, good heavens, the man who inspired this kind of poetry is divine. Number one, that moved me completely. Bhagavan completely converted me. Next thing that happened was that I had a very terrible domestic problem. A niece of mine had broken away from her husband, and various things happened to him. Good people, all good people. And I did not know what to do. I didn't want them to quarrel. They're both good people, but they parted, they married again, that's another story. You take it casually in America, we don't. So this thing happened. Then various things of the most important of all, I used to spend my vacations in Bangalore. Now during that vacation, that is April 1940, a famous Pandit, Sanskrit Pandit, great Sanskrit Pandit, systematically taught me the Brahma Sutras. Then I could see that behind this apparent laziness of Bhagavan was something very profound. And that man said, this is not mere theory. You go to Tiruvannamalai, you see the man. So when a great scholar told me Bhagavan, another very interesting thing was, you must have heard about Douglas Ainsley. Douglas Ainsley. He came to Madras. I was in Presidency College. I took him around because I'm myself a great admirer of Dante and Croce, Benedetto Croce, philosophy of the aesthetic, practical history. He was a great favorite of mine, and he knew Croce personally and had translated. And so after I spent a week with him, taking him to various places and so on, he casually asked me, have you seen Ramana Maharshi? Now here is the Englishman steeped in Italian philosophy telling me about Ramana. So I said, I was ashamed. Then I reported to Swami, I'd like to go. He said, don't go by yourself. Tie yourself in many bonds. Then I did. I'm still tied up. I haven't the courage to run away from her. You see, many people tell me, go to the Himalayas. Bhagavan is here. So all these things, so to say, compelled me. And all my problems are solved in 5 minutes. As I say again and again, in his presence, I felt like a little baby in its mother's lap. How to explain this? Just happiness. No intellectual troubles.
சின்ன வயசுலயே நான் சும்மா இருந்தேன். 16 வயசுலயே 18வது வயசுல நினைக்கிறேன் பகவான் சொப்பனத்திலே தான் நான் காட்சி கொடுத்தாரு முதல்ல.
At a very young age, when I was around 18 years old, Bhagavan appeared to me in a dream. In the dream, I saw this hill and Bhagavan walking towards me. I could even see a Shivalinga in the dream. Before this, Krishna used to appear in my dreams frequently. But here was a person I had never seen before. I was captivated by him. Our family deity was Vishnu, and we used to offer puja to Vishnu and Krishna. However, seeing a Shivalinga in the dream puzzled me. At that age, I could not comprehend the dream. Right from then onwards, my mind changed. Having been a coward since childhood, I would not even walk to the veranda of my house at night. But after having obtained the darshan of Bhagavan in my dream, the fear that had gripped me left me. It was only at the age of 20 that I got a book on Bhagavan. It was the Ramana Vijayam, written by Sudhananda Bharati. At the mere touch of the book, I lost body consciousness. My whole body became numb, and it was with great difficulty that I managed to come back and sit next to my friend. Noticing my plight, she commented, "You should not read all sorts of books. Your family members would be cross with you. You don't need to read such books at your young age. A little bit of reading may be fine, but not spending all 24 hours with such books." Those days, I would spend all my time reading spiritual books like Jnana Vasishta, Bhagavad Gita, etc. I curiously opened Ramana Vijayam for the first time. As soon as I did so, I saw a picture of the young Bhagavan. I fell down on the impact of seeing the picture. What book is this? I wondered. Don't read this book. I think this book will change your life, my friend warned me. I saw her off and took the book to bed with me. I was afraid that I would swoon again. So I lay down on the bed to read the book. As I read the book, I was so absorbed that I didn't feel my goosebumps. My eyes kept closing involuntarily. I later understood that this was meditation as prescribed in Bhagavan's path. In my family, women were not allowed to leave the house, not to mention leaving the town. However, after reading Ramana Vijayam, I felt I should meet Ramana Maharshi before giving up this body, whatever the consequences. The book provided me with this vairagya, but I could not leave home immediately, and it was 2 years before I was successful. I left home stealthily with my brother's help. He is also a spiritual person and is a sadhu now. I reached Tiruvannamalai with the help of a servant. Having reached there, I was filled with guilt for having run away from home and remorse for having done a wrong thing in order to achieve good ends. I wished I had been born in some other family. I felt very depressed. I came to Bhagavan's Sannidhi outside the old hall. Ommundua Reddyar was seated among the audience at that time. I had gone to the office to inquire about Bhagavan and was told that he was near the well. When I came to the well, I could not see Bhagavan, only a flame of fire. I asked for directions to go to Bhagavan, and they have sent me to a sacrificial place, I said to myself. As I stood there, Bhagavan appeared at that very spot. I thought I had this delusion of seeing fire instead of Bhagavan because I had come in from the hot sun. It was only later that I realized that Bhagavan had given me Jyoti Darshana. I could feel the Purana in my heart. Bhagavan said, "You have come home. Sit down." I sat down in front of him, but did not ask him anything. There were so many people around, and I was not used to it. I had no idea what to ask him anyway. I spent 3 days sitting in front of Bhagavan. However, the feeling of guilt of running away from home continued to haunt me. One day, Bhagavan narrated his story to Ommundua Reddyar. I ran away from home too. I was afraid that somebody might catch hold of me and take me back home. I was running away like a thief. If it was so difficult for me, how much more difficult would it be for a woman? These words of Bhagavan wiped out my sense of guilt completely. Those words of Bhagavan also removed any residual fear in me entirely. Since then, I have gone round the hill alone several times, even at night. I would go without telling anybody. There was no fear. If I had fear, how could I have stayed here alone? About my running away, Bhagavan said, "What about it? That may be needed." I was 16 when I came here. Moreover, she is a young girl. That is how one must do it if need be. What's wrong about it? At the time of Bhagavan's Mahanirvana, I was at Rajapalayam. That night, at the same time, I saw a beautiful blue light going up in the sky, and I knew Bhagavan had left the body. I did not want to live after that, and so I started to fast, hoping to drop the body that way. For 5 or 6 days, I did not touch food. But during that time, I had several visions, and in one of them, I was taken inside a cave on the hill and saw rishis performing yajnas. Sri Bhagavan was seated there. Bhagavan said, "Why are you crying? Why this anguish? You say that I have gone away, but where have I gone? I am here. Can you not see me?" Some rishis brought some prasad to Bhagavan. Sri Bhagavan took some and gave it to me. I did not remember in the dream that I was fasting. So I ate the prasad given to me by Bhagavan. For 5 days afterwards, the smell of that prasad was with me. Now, was that a dream or reality? I consider it to be Bhagavan's grace. The morning after the dream, I started taking food and coffee. My brother and sister were also fasting with me, deciding to give up their bodies if I were to give up mine. From that day onwards, I had no thought at all that Bhagavan had left us. He is all-pervading. I felt no more sorrow in my heart. He is here too. See how we all are gathered here? What have we done to deserve this?
கருத்தனு காக்கும் நிற்காமிய கண்மக்கருத்தை திருத்திய துந்தீபர கருத்தை திருத்திய துந்தீபர கதிவழி காண்பிக்கும் முந்தீபர தினமீது பூஜை ஜபமும் தியானம் உடல் வாக்குள தொழில் உந்தீபர உடல் வாக்குள தொழில் உந்தீபர உயர்வாகும் ஒன்றில் ஒன்றுந்தீபர எண்ணூறு யாவும் இறையுருவாமென எண்ணி வழி